Hey everybody, Ro16 bringing you all another StarCraft commentary. Things move on today. They move on. They move on. Ah! What? Righto. Group G, round of 16 in the MSL. Whee! It's going to be the last stuff that was played on the 19th of February. Time to get this stuff out of the way, boy. I'm gonna see whether Free versus ForGG goes to 3 sets as well. We've had all the other groups going to 3 sets so far. I'm gonna see whether it manages the same thing here. I called it 2-0 for Free, but if I remember correctly, but that's not gonna happen here. I've called it 2-1. I'm not sure, but ForGG took the first game after massively failed cheese by Free. I definitely don't think Free should have cheesed. I definitely think he has the capabilities to beat ForGG without cheesing at all, so let's hope he doesn't do anything silly this time and just play standard. ForGG, meanwhile, must be feeling pretty confident with himself, wearing his pretty new Hwaseung Oz. Hwaseung, I have no idea how that's pronounced. Wearing his new shirt anyway. I want one of those. Can I have one of those? I want. Anyway, I'm gonna see overall how it is that happens there. ForGG is a player that's kind of up and down. He's always a solid guy. He's never bad. He's never wonderful. I mean, the Arena MSL was his time. But Free's a guy who's kind of jumps a little bit. He's a solid player overall, but recently, after the last MSL, he kind of started playing a little bit more mediocre. But we're going to see whether that's been fixed. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I have this feeling I'll be drinking lots of water. Just might be true. This is going to be Byzantium II. At 5 o'clock we're going to have an orange ForGG as the Terran, and at 7 o'clock we're going to have Free as the red protoss. Look forward to seeing what sort of builds these guys go for. It's a 4-player map. Fangirls screaming in the background, but cheese is possible, of course. But 4-player map, it's kind of, it's less chance of it being spotted, but at the same time you might fail with it, especially if you scout very late. So I'm expecting pretty standard stuff from both players. It's a pretty balanced map overall for all the races. I believe it's like pretty even between TVP. I mean, one of the races has like a win over the other, so you can't really say that it's favored one way or another. And just looking forward to see what kind of builds they go for. Whether Freeze decides to go for a early push, to go gateway, core, gateway, and then just push out with Dragoons. Whether ForGG goes with the FD timing push, or goes from factory into fast expansion. I've seen some turns do that, especially to 4-player maps, so it could be a pretty safe build there. First gateway coming up from Free, so he's just going to continue mining, just get some stuff on the ground. I'm going to see whether he gets an initial Zealot, try to do some sort of harassment, or whether just go for a quick core to get some Dragoons out there. First barracks now out for ForGG. ForGG definitely, he doesn't have as many worries as Free here. He just, gets to sit still, play standard, and he should still come out pretty fine in this match. Some person with a card there that says Ace. Oh, Free coughing into his arm there and just trying to relax, trying to play the usual game of StarCraft that he knows he can't play. First gateway almost out, and getting his old simulator now as well, so he's going to probably go for the core afterwards and then add a second gateway. Refinery now up for ForGG, so he's going to start mining gas for that factory. Let's be ready for him pretty soon. Just try to get that initial factory going. We're going to see how he branches out after the first initial thing. Cybernetics corner coming up for Free, and he should have that second gateway up fairly soon as well. Looking at the poll, quite a few more people think that Free will take this particular game. Don't know whether to agree with them or not. Second gateway now coming up for Free, and now he's going to send out a scouting probe. No scouting SV yet for ForGG. Actually, yep, he's sending it out just now. He's pretty much stopped mining gas now, so this tells me he has only one guy mining gas, so this tells me he's going to use that factory and then go for a fast expand. I don't know if it's really a fast expand, but it's pretty quick for in a TVP game, for getting down your factory and just instantly expanding right after. A second gateway almost now ready for for free. He hasn't produced any zealots, so he's spinning that cybernetics core, so he's getting his dragoon upgrade even before he produces any dragoons. And he's, you know, he's pretty safe in that. There's not gonna be any troops bearing down on him for a little while yet. Both players scouting in the wrong direction, so it's gonna take them a long time to find each other. Unfortunate, but all in all, it's just gonna keep this good old long standard game. First factory now up, also adding a machine shop. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Free actually started re-mining a lot of gas. Or, I don't know, I'm not seeing him go for Festman. He might be actually thinking of doing that, sitting out some Marines to block off, so he might be thinking of expanding here. Machine shop now almost up, and now he's fully mining gas as well, so he might be actually thinking of getting some more, getting a factory. Wait a minute, maybe you completely stop mining gas if you're gonna go for expedition. Never mind then. So he had only one SCV on gas, so he might actually be putting down another hatchery before he puts down another command center. Free, I believe, now has a couple of dragoons. We're going to see what the moves are. He's still trying to scatter around both players, just now scouting that probe. Meanwhile, just going to spot those Marines. We're going to see what it goes by. Not going to go by the Marines. Just sitting on the ramp, just going to start pumping as much as they can. Plenty of Marines being produced here by ForGG, who you might actually be thinking of a early push with Marines and a tank, just waiting for that initial tank. For Dragoon out in the field, and the first two Dragoons out in the field for free. We're going to see whether he tries to intercept anything, tries to do some sort of damage. They definitely range the Marines, so if he micros them around pretty well. He has Dragoons on each side. Might have been thinking of boxing it, but no, the Dragoons instantly going to be forced back to do that one tank. Free might... Oh, Free, if only Dragoons were faster, you might have actually maybe snuck one of those Dragoons by, but now... ForGG has plenty of Marines, one tank. He might actually be thinking of pushing out, but I think with those Dragoons out in the field and two more Dragoons that are going to be coming out in time for that push, I don't think he will, especially with the positioning, because Free can simply take one of the ramps and just completely control it against the tanks. One Dragoons does have a kill though, yay! For Zealot also out, that's going to try to do something. Push coming out, two tanks, bunch of Marines. They're nothing but 4 Dragoons to me. They're 1 Dragoon is serious damage, takes some damage. One Zealot also coming in to support, and ForGG moving in, doing a lot of damage, killing 2 Dragoons, so Free could be in trouble here. Free's going to be forced to push back as far as he can. There's first a first Vulture coming out now, and also now a Command Center being put down by ForGG. And Free just desperate trying to move back. There are a bunch of Marines still alive, tanks also just shooting off as well as they can. Lots of damage, nothing. Okay, 2 more Zealots and a Dragoon to support, 2 more Dragoons to support. We're going to see whether ForGG pushes this. He has a Vulture that has mines, so he'll be able to plant some mines. They're planting mines in response to those Dragoons, just trying to hit that. Oh, but man, mine goes off. Into the tank goes down, and the Vulture also goes down, so Free does a pretty good job of pushing this back. One other Vulture coming out, but I don't think it's going to be overall successful. Those mines weren't too successful. Free is going to lose 1 Dragoon there, and oh, ForGG almost loses a tank, man. Wow, those Marines are going to stay, do as much damage as they can, but overall, not going to happen. Yes, Command Center now coming up for ForGG. I think he should have another factory going from pretty soon. Free's not expanding yet. I'm not quite sure what he's gone in tech. I know he's done some damage. Oh, mine going off on a Zealot, killing it. And another mine going off. No, it's going to get taken out just before it hits those Dragoons head on. More mines being planted, so definitely forcing Free to be very careful in his micro there. Doing a pretty good job of assaulting that mine there, but I think ForGG actually has a decent defensive positioning. He's repairing those Vultures. He has a couple of tanks positioned. I don't think Siege is ready for him yet, but he's not going to be able to plant any more mines. Freeze means we're going to move in with Dragoons. They're going to start attacking this command center and those SCVs that are going to be sitting in there. So ForGG is definitely going to lose some SCVs that are mining for him. And ForGG is not going to move out to defend this quite yet. He might actually be moving in forward with those SCVs, using those SCVs to block the other forces. Just, what's Free doing? He's just standing with his forces, just taking the shots. Okay, Siege, he was ready for the Siege. Now the Siege is ready. Now he's going to use the SCVs to push those forces back. Oh, he has to be very careful with that Command Center. Command Center could down. Okay, ForGG now starts defending that Command Center, but Free moving out, I believe he's going to more forces, also using his chance to put down his own expansion. So that's very smartly of him. ForGG, meanwhile, is not going to lose his Command Center. Free is being pushed back by those tanks. Siege came just in time for him. Just blocked off his tanks, meanwhile with his SCVs, waiting for that Siege. So both players with early pressure, and both stopped. Observatory now out for Free, so he's going to have some observers going pretty soon. He might be switching to drop tech after that. Engineering bay and barracks floating around. Meanwhile, armory also coming up, and a bunch of several turrets being put down by ForGG. So he's getting ready for drops that might be bearing down on him, putting down some turrets in several locations. mostly Dragoons just being produced instead of a Dune now coming out from free, so he's not actually going to go for Reavers. He's just going to go for some Zealot legs and get a decent amount of Zealots out there to counter these tanks that are going to be there on the ground. We're going to see overall how effective that manages for him. First army now almost is up, so he's going to, ForGG is definitely going to get some upgrades going. I haven't seen any Forge meanwhile for free. Terrans, of course, if they get those upgrades, they can kill protoss so easily. They do it so well, and I've seen a bunch of protosses fall behind just simply due to upgrades and no other reason. Temple Archives are coming up. I think Free definitely should think about getting some upgrades because a heavy metal army from Terran is pretty dangerous for him. And now an engagement coming down. Oh man, those Dragoons are going to try to penetrate. SCV's being pulled off the line. Tanks also sieging everywhere. Pretty decent tank position, but a bunch of those tanks get taken down. There are some tanks though at the low ridges. They do range through those spotting. Potential Dragoons trying to move out, but most of them get melted here. SCV's engaging and overall killing them. So there are a couple of Dragoons still alive there, just not doing a pretty good job. Meanwhile, now ForGG moving out with his tanks. Pretty overall a good blockade there. Engineering Bay Barracks blocking off ways. So Free not too successful there. Trying to do some damage. Did take out some tanks, some vultures, a few SCVs I believe, but overall lost a huge number